Think for a moment about those uncanny moments in life, the ones that defy simple material explanation, where you felt a sudden drop in your stomach, a chill that had no earthly source, or a profound illogical surge of peace when everything around you suggested panic. These experiences are far more than mere tricks of the mind or random coincidences. They are, in fact, the persistent, loving attempts at communication from a guiding intelligence, a spiritual mentor, or esprit protecteur, as Allan Kardec designated them, assigned to you. This guide resides in a dimension where the chaos and turmoil of our terrestrial existence cannot penetrate, yet they remain intimately concerned with your journey. As the foundation of Spiritism, Kardec's teachings confirm that every soul is accompanied by a benevolent spirit protector, whose mission, whether accepted as a joy, a mission, or a duty, is to watch over, advise, and inspire us toward moral elevation and spiritual progress. Imagine this guardian as having eternal, compassionate eyes fixed upon your every fall, moment of struggle and paralysis, waiting for the precise, perfect instant to extend a hand. They do not intervene with a thunderous voice that would crush your free will, but with a nuanced coded whisper, a delicate vibration that only the deepest, most receptive part of your soul is capable of translating. The mentor's communication is subtle, manifesting in the scent of an unexpected flower, the specific melody that plays on the radio at the exact moment a decision is required, or a sudden, profound insight that pierces the fog of doubt. The world is filled with individuals who ceaselessly pray for a miraculous, undeniable sign from above, yet they completely overlook the continuous, understated stream of spiritual counsel they receive in their daily lives. Your spiritual guide adheres strictly to the laws of divine providence, never overriding the sacred principle of free will. They insinuate their presence and their wisdom within the subtle folds of your everyday consciousness. When you commit to learning this coded, often silent language, the entire structure of your current understanding will invariably crumble, not in destruction, but to allow your life to be rebuilt upon a level of spiritual clarity and purpose you could never have foreseen. The physical sensation as an energetic touch. The direct intervention of your spiritual protector often bypasses the circuitous path of the logical mind, communicating instead through sudden, intense physical sensations, a phenomenon that is easily dismissed by the skeptical, but is, in reality, a powerful energetic signature. This contact might manifest as a concentrated wave of heat radiating outwards from the chest, often experienced around the heart center, a specific and localized warmth that feels entirely separate from your body's usual temperature regulation, acting as a profound spiritual warming when the surrounding world feels cold or overwhelming. Conversely, it could be the electric involuntary shiver that runs instantly from the neck, down your arm or back, a sharp, quick vibration that is distinctly recognizable as an energetic jolt, a literal tap on the shoulder from the spirit realm. These are not physiological anomalies or random nerve firings. They are the subtle yet deeply impactful touches of the perispirit of your mentor connecting with your own. As Kardec elucidates, the spirit, though immaterial in the gross sense, is enveloped by the perispirit, a semi-material fluidic body that acts as the vehicle for the spirit's actions and sensations, allowing it to interact with the physical world and other perispirits. When your guide is near and actively attempting to convey protection, comfort, or a warning, they use this fluidic connection to imprint a sensation directly onto your physical being, essentially generating a signal that cuts through mental noise. This physical manifestation is a primitive yet highly effective form of spiritual magnetism, designed to forcefully draw your attention away from superficial worries toward the deeper, more significant truth being transmitted. These somatic impressions are direct affirmations that an invisible plane is actively engaged in your existence, destroying the inertia of confusion and prompting you to ground yourself and listen intently to the subsequent inner voice. The recurring pattern in dreams and sleep. The state of sleep, according to the tenets of Spiritism, is far from a passive period of unconscious rest for the soul. It is, in fact, a crucial time when the bonds holding the spirit to the physical body loosen, allowing for the emancipation of the soul. During this partial freedom, your spirit is granted a greater, though often incomplete, liberty, entering into more direct communication and relationship with other spirits, including your protector. Have you ever been haunted by a recurring dream, one filled with strange or illogical symbols? Yet upon waking, you are left with an undeniable, resonant feeling of peace, profound instruction, or acute warning. These are often the clearest messages, the nocturnal scripts written in the coded calligraphy of the spirit world, utilizing symbols that repeat and insist until your waking, rational mind finally surrenders to their meaning. The experiences during sleep can be multifaceted. They may be the recollection of past lives, glimpses of future events, or most importantly, actual encounters where your mentor offers clear counsel and guidance in the spiritual realms. The challenge, as Kardec notes, lies in the fact that the remembrance of these profound experiences is frequently fragmented and incoherent, hence the extravagant or inconsistent nature of many dreams, because the spirit struggles to fully impress its fluidic memories onto the dense material brain upon reintegration. However, the emotional residual, the lingering peace, the clarity of a decision, or the persistent anxiety is the anchor of the message. The mentor utilizes the dream state because the soul, less encumbered by the physical senses and the constant external stimuli, is far more receptive to the pure influence of good spirits, making the guidance received in this state a direct foundational communication for your spiritual progression, synchronicity, and the orchestration of events. To regard a fortunate meeting or a perfectly timed solution as mere luck or accident is to adopt a philosophy of spiritual blindness. It is to ignore the meticulous, benevolent choreography performed by your guiding spirit. Your mentor does not need grand, miraculous displays. They operate through the intricate and subtle arrangement of daily life, transforming the commonplace into the highly significant through the principle of synchronicity. Think about the seemingly innocuous encounter, perhaps a 5-minute conversation in an elevator, or a chance sighting of an old friend, which unexpectedly provides the precise key to unlock a long-standing personal or professional dilemma. Your guide utilizes people, books, snippets of media, and seemingly random events as tools, creating purposeful patterns designed to capture your attention and gently redirect your path. It is the perfect sentence appearing on a billboard, the specific paragraph in a book that falls open at the right moment, or the lyric on the radio that speaks directly to the question you asked silently just moments before. These occurrences are not random. They are intentional alignments, often described by the spirits as forms of inspiration or hidden counsel. The guide's purpose is not to perform a magic trick, but to provide a consistent, undeniable stream of evidence that a higher intelligence is at work in your favor, subtly moving the pieces on the chessboard of your life. By observing these aggressive repetitions, the same phrase heard from 3 different sources, the continuous appearance of a certain name or image, you are being guided to a truth that your rational mind, left to its own devices, would otherwise miss or dismiss. The quiet power of intuition and prescience. The purest, most distilled form of spiritual communication is often the direct internal infusion of wisdom, described in Spiritism as intuition or presentiment, premonition, foreboding. This is the instant when an idea that is entirely foreign to your conscious analytical thought process erupts into your mind, a sudden blinding flash of light that prevents you from embarking on a path that would lead to regrettable outcomes. It is the spontaneous feeling of profound conviction, the quiet voice that speaks a truth with such undeniable authority that it renders all doubt and deliberation unnecessary. Kardec clarifies that intuition and presentiments are often the intimate and hidden counsel of your protective spirit. Your mentor, viewing the overall context and consequences of your choices from a higher vantage point, gently influences your thoughts and feelings, impressing upon your inner consciousness the choice that is most beneficial for your moral and spiritual development. This inspiration is not a forceful command. It is a suggestion that, when accepted, manifests as an internal certainty, accompanied by a deep, sustaining sense of peace, even if the decision itself involves confronting fear or difficulty. The advice of the spiritual guide covers all aspects of your life, moral and material. They strive to help you live the best life possible. However, the spirits also note that individuals frequently block this salutary counsel by closing their ears and hearts through pride, vanity, and a preference for inferior influences. thus plunging themselves into avoidable misery. Recognizing and respecting this sudden, profound internal clarity, a certainty you didn't have to think yourself into, is the essence of attuning to your guide's communication, the inexplicable longing and spiritual homesickness. A more profound and emotionally arresting sign of your guide's proximity is the sudden onset of an intense, inexplicable spiritual homesickness, a deep sense of longing or saudade for a home you have never physically known. This emotional touch often surfaces during moments of extreme quietude or solitude, precisely when the external noise of the world is muffled and the internal void of the soul becomes vast enough to feel the surrounding silence. The mentor touches your fluidic body, igniting a latent primal memory within your perispirit, a painful yet clarifying echo of your true spiritual origin and your pre-incarnation existence. This deep, unbidden wave of emotion, which may lead to tears without any immediate logical cause, is a powerful indicator that your soul has detected a profound truth or an essential spiritual vibration that your current, rational mind is not yet equipped to process. It is the feeling of your higher self aligning with the pure vibration of your protector, an intimate reminder of who you truly are and what you came to Earth to accomplish. The guide employs this emotional language, the language of the pure spirit, because it resonates immediately with the core essence of your being, bypassing the intellectual filters. Only those individuals who possess the courage to slow their pace, to face their own internal pain, and to cultivate a receptive inner silence can effectively capture and interpret this invisible frequency of deep, clarifying nostalgia. Environmental signs and the purity of nature. Your spiritual guide often utilizes the unsullied purity of the natural world as a highly expressive communication channel, a clear sign that they are actively trying to breach the walls of your material focus. The guide seeks out environments and elements that are clean, simple, and free from the contamination of human obsession and artifice. This may involve the sudden, unbidden manifestation of specific scents that have no physical source, a sharp, clean fragrance, the aroma of incense, or the comforting smell of wet earth after a dry spell. These are not hallucinations, but rather the guide using their fluidic essence to impress a symbolic scent upon your spiritual olfaction, a sense far more discerning than its physical counterpart, signifying a pure, protective presence. Furthermore, the natural world may actively participate in the signaling. A butterfly materializing seemingly out of nowhere and lingering, a bird landing only inches from you without fear, or a flower suddenly blooming out of season or at a symbolically relevant time. Where there is natural purity and beauty, there is unobstructed access for the benevolent influence of the spiritual world. By paying attention to these aggressive yet gentle external repetitions and symbolic occurrences, you are confirming your openness to the pure, simple messages your guide is meticulously placing in your path. The power of humble silence and self-correction. One of the most profound lessons revealed by the spirit guides is that the deepest and most powerful connection is forged not in clamorous demand, but in a mature spiritual humility and the cultivation of inner silence. As the spirits teach through Kardec, they sometimes permit you to feel utterly lost, or even temporarily withdraw their overtly noticeable influence, not as an act of abandonment, but as the final training. This temporary distance forces you to walk, to seek, and to tap into your own inner previously unrecognized strength, making your learning self-generated and therefore indelible. Your guide will never act out of vanity, and their occasional silence is often a profound response, a necessary period of growth. When you feel most abandoned and on the brink of collapse, it is precisely then that their quiet, sustaining influence is often most intense, because it is in the face of despair that the soul tears itself open and the spirit, stripped of its arrogance, becomes genuinely humble and receptive. The wise understand that the spiritual world may retract its visible influence at will, but the heart that bends itself in radical humility learns to listen, to hear the whisper of guidance at any cost, transforming its isolation into a powerful classroom for the soul. The guide does not provide a simple yes or no answer. They respond with life's profound experiences, internal revelations and insights that compel you to live the truth, because the soul only truly comprehends what the intellect by itself can never absorb: the impulse toward unconditional service. The intense, unexplainable, and overwhelming impulse to assist another human being, to extend a hand of compassion, or to dedicate yourself to a cause without any expectation of personal reward, is a monumental sign of your guide's direct and powerful influence. Your mentors are, in essence, the brute force that relentlessly propels us toward acts of true, heartfelt service and charity. They understand with perfect clarity that the act of healing or comforting another person is, in fact, the most direct and potent method of healing ourselves, that in the very act of giving we are the most receptive to receiving spiritual blessings and guidance. Kardecian teachings emphasize that charity, defined not merely as giving money but as benevolence toward all and forgiveness of offenses, is the most powerful, energetic bridge between the two worlds. When your guide is actively steering you, they inspire this urge toward altruism, knowing that this alignment with the great law of love elevates your spiritual vibration immediately and profoundly. This is the moment your will is perfectly aligned with the divine will, and the guide's presence is undeniable, manifested as the moral strength to put universal love into practical, daily action, strengthening the spiritual tie that connects you eternally to the higher spheres. Forgiveness, the zenith of spiritual connection. The ultimate, most transformative signal, the master key that unlocks the floodgates of spiritual intervention, is not a supernatural spectacle, but the profound internal act of radical forgiveness and the subsequent total alignment with your divine purpose. When the soul, finally exhausted by the weight of resentment, self-blame, and past grievances, opens itself fully to the forgiveness of self, others, and the inherent difficulties of life, the spiritual mentor manifests with a force that completely inundates your being. This is the case because the act of forgiveness is the highest alignment with the supreme law of the universe, the law of love and justice, and where true forgiveness reigns, total spiritual liberation follows. Your guide recognizes this psychological and spiritual breakthrough as the single greatest quantum leap in human consciousness, celebrating this act as your most significant spiritual victory. At this point of radical acceptance and release, a deep, pervasive gratitude emerges without external cause. An unshakable peace becomes your non-negotiable compass, and the mission accepted by your soul before birth, the very reason you are here, begins to vibrate intensely. This transformative phase makes it crystal clear that every difficulty, every setback, and every lesson you have ever endured was fundamentally necessary and made perfect sense in preparing you for this moment of absolute spiritual clarity and purpose. Every profound feeling you have experienced while reading these words, be it a quiet tear, an electric shiver, or a moment of undeniable clarity, is not mere happenstance. It is the living echo of a truth that has always resided within the deepest core of your being. You were not led to these teachings by accident. Your spiritual journey has meticulously guided you to this moment, where your protector was patiently waiting for this precise confirmation, the conscious, humble realization that you have never, even in your most difficult moments, walked alone. Reflect now with new eyes on every subtle sign you may have ignored, every profound intuition you rationalized away. From this moment forward, you must observe the world with a new, fierce spiritual diligence. The details you previously labeled as insignificant now carry profound, precious messages. The spiritual world operates with a subtlety that only those who consciously pause and cultivate inner stillness are capable of discerning. You have awakened this deep, innate sensitivity. You must now wield it with the sacred responsibility of one who knows that your guide is ready to amplify the signals, reinforce your intuition, and forge paths through seemingly impenetrable obstacles. This next step, however, requires one simple, powerful act from you: the constant, committed choice to remain desperately available, to be a presence in your own life, and to dedicate yourself to listening. Cultivate your inner silence, maintain a sincere daily connection through prayer and good works, and foster a deep, unyielding gratitude. The noise of the world may scream for your attention, but the truth of the Spirit forever whispers. Silence the external clamor, for your spiritual mentor is closer than you have ever imagined, and they are already preparing to reveal the next urgent truth to you in the divine and perfect time.